Hi there, and after completing step 1 of the Upscale snack bar a few weeks ago, I've now bought enough white parts so that today I can complete step 2. So just to catch you up to where we're at building our upscaled snack bar, in my first video I started step 1 and that was building the 8x16 base plate in green. And that one part alone took 1,600 pieces of Lego and cost me £135 to build. And then in part 2 we completed step 1 a few weeks ago and we built 5 white bricks to go on top. A 1x8, 2 1x1s, a 2x4 and a 1x4. And at the end of that video I had great fun placing the giant upscaled bricks on the giant upscaled base plate and completing the huge version of step 1. And those 5 white bricks were made out of 469 separate Lego pieces. So adding that to the base plate, we're now at 2,069 in total. And today we're going to use another 561 white pieces to build the bricks for step 2. Now last time we built 5 upscale bricks, today we're having to build 7. We've got a 1x8, a 1x6 which we haven't built before, a 1x2 which I haven't built for this set before, although I did build one for my upscaled mini loader. We've got 2 more 1x1s, we've built a couple of those already, and a new part we're building a 2x3 plate, and we're getting 2 of those. And once all those parts are built and we transfer to my dining room so we can put them on my giant base plate, I'm also going to fix the problem we talked about last time, which is this 1x1 brick which can rotate too freely. And thank you to everyone for the many solutions that they suggested in the comments of the last video. All your suggestions would have worked, however a lot of them would involve locking the 2 bricks together in such a way that I wouldn't be able to take them apart at Lego shows. And the whole point of this build is that I'm going to be able to build it and unbuild it at a Lego show in front of an audience. One slight modification that I've had to make is that at the end of the last video I did show that this 1x8, because it was so long and had no support in the middle, it tended to flex in the middle and then it wouldn't sit over the top of the upscale studs below. Now the easy fix for this at the moment is I've got 4 2x4 bricks and I just pop them in the middle, which allows it still to be high enough to fit over a stud but doesn't allow the sides to flex in and out, so it sits on the base plate a lot more easily. And just so you can see how mammoth this project is actually getting, I just thought I'd give you a quick overview of all the parts that I'm having to buy. In bricks I've got a bag of 1x4s, lots of 1x6s, stacks of 1x8s and a few 1x10s. I've got a Pizza Express takeaway box full of large plates, there's some 6x12s, 6x8s, 6x6s, then we've got some 4x12s, 4x6s and some 2x12s. And on the side of every upscale part, as well as all those bricks, we do need 1 layer of plates to give it its scale height. So I've got hundreds of 1x6s, a lot of 1x8s and a handful of 1x4s. And to give it its lovely smooth look on top, we need lots of 2x4s and of course some 2x2 plates underneath. Unfortunately, my local Lego store just happened to have 2x4 white tiles on their pick-a-brick wall, so I've got 538 of those in a box. A large bag of the cheapest 2x2 plates that I could find on Bricklink, which cost me less than 1 pence each. And of course, to make those many upscale studs, I've got those 4x4 round bricks with a recess in the middle and some 3x3 round tiles to go inside them. So I've bought an awful lot of white pieces so far, about 500 per step, but when you see how many white upscale bricks I'm actually going to have to build, I've still got a long way to go and a lot more pieces to buy. Now because I've built a 1x8 and a 1x1 in the previous step, I'm going to speed build my way through those two, and if you want to see how they were built, you can go back and look at step 1 and see the process of those being built. But after I've whizzed through them, we're going to go through in more detail the 1x6, the 1x2 and of course those new plates. So I've already got one 1x8 brick, let's build another one. Now I am definitely getting quicker at building upscale bricks, as that 1x8 only took me 7.5 minutes to build. Not too bad, a lot quicker than the original one, but you can see how satisfying that is. We've got now 2 1x8s that can sit on top of each other, just like 2 1x8s sitting on top of each other. So next we're making 2 more 1x1 bricks. And that was even quicker, just 2 minutes 40 seconds to build our 2 1x1 bricks. Now we've got a whole stack of them. And speaking of stacking them, remember later on we are going to solve that problem that when we do stack these 1x1s, they can rotate on each other quite freely because they've got no friction like actual Lego bricks do. So back to building in real time. Next we're going to build our 1x2 brick. Now when we were building our 1x1, I was using a 6x6 plate, obviously because this is 6:1 scale, so 1 is 6. However, on this one I do want some tiles at least to join these two together, and if we use 2 6x6s, those 2x4 tiles wouldn't make any crossings across that gap. So what I'm using is a 4x6 and an 8x6. So we're going to start off by adding our tiles. And I did mention in the last video that I'm using the same pattern all the way round for these. So no matter what, I'm always using a horizontal tile in the top left hand corner and the bottom right hand, and the vertical ones in the top right and the bottom left. So we've got the pattern always going around that way on every single brick in this build. That includes the 128 studs on the giant green base plate. So there are our tiles, and then because it's only 12 studs long, we can actually give this a lot of extra strength by using 1x10s. We don't use many of these in this build, but this is a handy sized brick where we can. And then we've got 1x6s on the ends, and then our alternate layer is 2 1x4s, and then 2 1x6s. Now you can buy 1x12s, however 2 1x6s is a lot cheaper, and I'm buying these in bulk, so I'm getting them at quite a good price. And then we're going to repeat that all the way down, so a 1x6, 1x10s, and a 1x6, and then 1x4s on the end, and 4 1x6s. As you can hear, I've got a massive stack of 1x6s off camera to the right here, and then last layer, 2 more 1x10s, and 2 1x6s, and then finally we've got that plate layer we need to give it a scale height. We're using 1x6s and then 2 1x4s, and in 2.5 minutes we've got our 1x2 brick built. We just need to pop our 2x2s in on top, add our huge studs, fill those in with more of our very cheap yellow plates, which I'm starting to run out of actually. I'm going to have to buy some more cheap plates from somewhere. And we've got our studs on top. And now we've got a 1x2 as well. And we really are starting to get a nice little collection of upscale bricks. But on to our next new brick today, our 1x6. Now the 1x6 is going to be built in pretty much the same format as the 1x8, just slightly shorter of course. That means using a shed load of 1x6s, a couple of 1x4s, and also a couple of 1x8s. So what we're going to do is start off by putting a 1x6 on the end and have our 2 1x8s. And then we're going to fill in the rest of the gaps down the sides with 6s. Oh, that's a 4. And then our last one on the side is a 1x8 and a 6 on the end, and of course repeating the same on the other side. And already that holds itself together. Now the alternate layer, we're obviously using 1x4s on the end, and then just 1x6s down the side. And because it's a 6 stud brick, we know we need 6 1x6s. 4, 5, 6. Thank goodness I don't need another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's our 2 layers, 3 more to go. And I've got to crack open another bag of 1x6s. So we've got 1x6s on each end, 1x8s as our first brick down each side, and fill in the gap with 1x6s. 1, 2, 3 on this side, and 1, 2, 3 on the other side. Then our alternate layer, our last one of these, 1x4s on the end, and then 6 1x6s down the sides. I'm getting through these 1x6s remarkably quickly. I'm glad I bought quite a few hundred of them. There we go, and then our final layer, we're back to 1x6s on the ends with our 1x8s. And 3 1x6s in the middle. And then all we need to do is add our final plate layer to give it its scale height. And we're going to do that in the same pattern as the bricks with 1x4s, if I can find where I put them. And they go on the end like we did with the bricks. And have a row of 1x6s down both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this side. So much easier to work with the bricks than it is with the plates. There we go, 3 minutes 34 seconds, not too bad. Right, we just need to add the studs. Oh, we need to do the tiles first, of course. And for those, follow the same pattern we've done all along. Mustn't press it down too hard on these because we lose some plates underneath if we do. That's the trouble with working on a studded surface. I thought it was a little bit too white on white for my camera, so I thought I'd go for a grey background this week. There we go, just need the studs. And of course that means cheap yellow plates. They can go on first, like that, and then big 4x4 bricks. And then more plates inside those. And lastly, of course, our 3x3 tiles. And we've got another new brick, a 1x6. Now moving on to our 2x3 plate, so a lot less bricks in this. And this is our first piece I think we've ever built that's not using a single 1x6 brick in it. But I have actually made one of these before in black for the upscaled mini loader. And we're going to build this in a very similar way. So I've got 3 4x12s and 1 6x12, and we want them to be 12 so they stretch right the way across the plate. And first of all, of course, we're going to add an awful lot of tiles. And because we didn't use all 6 wide plates, of course we've got some tiles crossing over all our gaps, so already that's holding itself together. And because it's only a plate, we only need 1 layer of bricks on this. And what we're going to do is a 1x10 and a 1x8 down the side, 2 1x10s on the ends, and then another 1x10 and a 1x8. And that's our complete layer of bricks. We just need to finish off with a layer of plates. And for that we're having 2 1x8s inset slightly with 1x6s on each of the ends, 2 down that end and 2 down this end. And then on the other side, 2 more 1x8s, and that is the complete plate finished apart from its studs. And because if you've already watched the other parts of these videos, you've already seen me build 168 studs before, 128 in green and 40 in white. So this time I've pre-built those and we can just drop them in place like this. And there we've got our first plate for the set. And because we need 2 of them for this step, I've built another one. So we've got the 5 bricks we built in step 1 inside on our dining room table already, and we've now got our 7 new pieces to take inside so they can join them. However, we are going to have to do a few minor modifications. Firstly, as I said earlier, we've got to make some way of making sure that this brick doesn't rotate on the upscaled version, and also the 2x3 plates sit on top of the 2x4 brick, and they balance nicely on this because they've got some clutch power holding them in place. However, if we try and balance our 2x3 plate just on 2 studs, we'll see that doesn't really work in upscale. Now I did wonder if we left 4 studs gap and put another 1x10 across here, So we've got enough width for our studs to sit in. So our 1x2, or well, it'll be on our 1x4 there, can sit on there. I thought that might give us a little bit of leverage on that to hold it in place, but it doesn't do anything. Now, to solve this problem and also the rotating problem of the 1x1s on the green base plate and also in their column, we are going to need studs, and a lot of people suggested this in the comments on my last video. However, we can't just use regular plates. I'll show you why. If we had, for example, lots of people said just use a 1x1 in the corner or multiple corners like that, and that's absolutely fine. That'll give us a little bit of grip on our brick above, so it won't rotate anymore. However, we can't guarantee whether that plate is going to stay stuck to this one or if it's going to get more grip on the one above and come off with that brick above. This one is actually sticking really nicely and not proving my point at all. But with the potential of people viewing this at LEGO shows, putting it together and taking it apart, I want to make sure it's absolutely bulletproof and there's no chance that these studs will come off and attach themselves to the other brick. So my plan for all the 1x1 bricks is that we're going to remove one of the 2x4 tiles and we're going to replace that with a 1x4 tile on the outside, and then just inside that a 1x4 modified plate which only has 2 studs on it. Then when we replace the upscale stud, we've got just 1 stud sticking out, as we would have if we had a 1x1 plate in the corner. However, we've got 4 anti-studs gripping to the brick below and only 1 stud gripping to the brick above. Plus also we've got the added sort of pressure of this upscale stud holding it down as well. So hopefully there's no way when you join these together that the brick above will ever lift that off the bottom brick. And also we've got our anti-rotation device. These can't be moved and turned around at all, unlike these two. So I'm going to update all my 1x1 bricks so they've just got 1 stud sticking out. It doesn't matter which way round they go when we're building it together, as any corner will do, it'll just stop the brick above it rotating. And now I've got a complete collection of 1x1 bricks, all with just a single stud on one side. So I'm going to try and do exactly the same with the 2x3 plates sitting on the 2x4 brick. It would be easy if they were sitting here. We'd have more sticking on the brick than it would being sort of overhanging. However, we know they've got to sit here and that doesn't work. Now, we don't know quite how many studs I'm going to need, so I'm going to start replacing some of these with the 1x4 tiles and the 1x4 modified plates and see how many we need to stick a 2x3 plate on top. So here I've replaced 2 of the plates with 1x1s, and so effectively we've got 2 studs, but I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be enough clutch power to hold this piece up. If we stick that on, oh, remarkably, it is. In our first go, we've done enough with all that we need. However, more pieces are going to be going on the top of this, so we may have to modify that in the future. But for now, yeah, that is, oh, no, didn't quite click on that time. But no, that does seem to stick pretty well. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to replicate that on all 4 sets of pairs of studs. However, because we don't know if this brick is going to be put down this way round or this way round, so we're going to need to have studs on here as well, just in case the brick gets turned around by people using it at the show. But so I'm going to quickly pop all those studs on and see what it looks like. So I've replaced all 4 on each side, so it doesn't matter which way round the brick goes, whether it's that way or that way. We've still got 2 studs for each of the 2x3 plates to stick to. I think we're sailing pretty close to the wind, only using 2 studs per plate, but with that one there and this one there, it does seem to work. So now we have a whole host of upscale white bricks. I think it's time we take them inside onto the dining room table and do step 2 on our upscaled build. So on location in the dining room, and we've got all our white bricks ready to go. But just before we put them together, as always, a big shout out to all my channel members. Thank you so much for your support. It really is appreciated. And if anyone else is interested in becoming a channel member and getting your name on a brick in my videos, you can click on the join button below or the link in the description, and that'll tell you how. Or alternatively, another way to support the channel, if you're buying from lego.com, please use my affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything more, but Lego give me a small commission on everything that people buy. But just before we start building, we know we've fixed the problem of the 1x1 bricks rotating on each other. However, we haven't fixed the problem of them rotating on the green base plate. And for that, we're going to do exactly the same as we did on the brick. We're going to remove the stud and also the 2x4 tile. However, we're going to replace it with a 2x2 tile and also this 2x2 modified plate with 2 studs on it. So that's going to sit there and there, and if we replace our stud on top, Now we've got two small studs for our brick to sit on, and now it doesn't rotate. And when we pull it off, it sits quite happily and doesn't come off with our brick. So we now know these can all sit happily stacked up and nothing is going to rotate. And from any distance away you can barely see those two studs sitting next door to that upscale stud. And of course what I'll have to do, I'll have to replicate that in the opposite corner as well, just in case this base plate is used the other way around when we start building. So first of all, step one, and we start off with our 1x1 brick on the front edge. And on our upscale version 2, then we're going to need to leave a 4 stud wide gap for that lovely red door which is coming in a few weeks time. And we've got a 1x4 brick and our upscaled version. Then next to that, our largest piece, a 1x8, which sits beautifully there. And then another 1x1 going next to that, and then our 2x4 coming down the front there. And that was step 1. On to step 2. We've got another 1x1 in our column, which we now know doesn't rotate at all. And then on the back, we've got a 1x1. We don't have the same rotation problem here. It does turn at the moment like that, but as soon as we put the 1x2 next door to it, that holds it in place. So we've got 1x2. Oh, we need to do that on the smaller version, obviously. 1x1, 1x2. Then we've got our other 1x8. Going on there, and then our brand new brick 1x6 down the side, and then easy with Lego clutch power on the regular size version, our plates, and then just being held in place by those two studs, we've got our two 2x3 plates there, and we've got our smaller version and our upscale version. And just because everyone says they love it so much in the comments of these videos, here's our regular size version and our upscale size version. And I've just noticed that the scale really does match. You can see there's two joint lines, one there and one there, and you can see the same joint line on the upscale version there and there. So it really does look pretty much identical. So as always, I've got a lot more pieces to buy, but next time we'll be doing step 3. And in there we've got one brand new piece. We've got a 1x4, which we haven't built yet. We've done 1x2s and 1x1s. We've got 2 of each of those. But the really exciting thing is we have pieces in another colour. We've got a 2x3 black plate to build, which is going to rest on these 2x3 white plates. And of course that massive countertop which goes across the front, which is a 2x8 grey plate, which is going to be the largest piece we will have built so far other than the base plate itself. Now this piece sits on the front like that, and half of it is on the bricks and half of it is off, so I'm hoping that the weight of itself will hold itself in place. Maybe we'll need to add a few studs like we did before on the 2x4 brick along the 1x8 here, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Of course, when this set was built, grey was light grey and now it's light bluish grey, so the upscaled version is going to be ever such a slightly different colour. But fortunately for step 3, the round 4x4 brick with the recess, which we use for the white studs, is also available in grey and in black, so we're going to be all sorted for step 3. Then after step 3, we've got step 4 with a few tricky pieces. We've got some regular white pieces. We've got a 2x2 45-degree slope piece, and also there's a shelf behind that, so we've got a 1x4 plate and lots more 1x1 bricks. And then of course we've got the dreaded red door. Now the cost of this project is starting to get pretty high, so any way you can support the channel I would greatly appreciate it, whether that's becoming a channel member or using my affiliate link on lego.com, or just dropping me a small super thanks or super chat in the comments below. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. But of course, above everything else, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe for more LEGO videos.